Hello, my name is Olga Prykhodko. I've been dancing and singing salsa for many years. While I was traveling a lot, participating in numerous dance and music events around the world, I met stars in the world salsa community, whom I would like to introduce in my new project called Social Talks. I will be interviewing famous people and representatives of Latin American culture, and they will share their experience. They will tell about their ups and downs, and of course, they will inspire you. Subscribe to our channel Universo Latino on YouTube and other social networks and find a lot of interesting and useful information. Get closer to the stars who inspire you. Salsa unites people. Good afternoon, Europe. Good evening, Thailand. My name is Olga Prykhodko and this is Social Talks on Universo Latino channel. Gracias por unir a nuestra emisión. Today we have an extraordinary and legendary person, Mr. Henry Knowles, a legendary first salsa DJ, known as the world's top Latin music DJ with over 30 years experience in the music and entertainment industry. Hello, Henry.
Hello. Wow, this made me sound old, legendary.
Yes, it
Not
is
50 years,
legendary.
over 35 years.
Over 35. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it was my fault. How are you today? Thank you for
good.
joining us. It's a great honor for us to be hosting you today.
My pleasure. It's my honor to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
So, where are you now? You are living in Thailand, right?
Yes, I'm in Thailand, in Bangkok.
In Bangkok. So, you are living in a summer paradise.
Yeah, it's hot all year round, like the Caribbean, like Puerto Rico and Cuba.
Because
Hot.
in Europe, it is a very strange summer this year. Like the whole year is a little bit unpredictable, and the summer is cold as well in Europe. Dear guests, dear friends who are watching us, thank you very much. And today we will speak with Henry about his professional career as a DJ and not only. And believe me, during the conversation and by the end of our talk, you will feel yourself inspired by this amazing person and his outstanding career. Yesterday we had a very short test check, and during these 10 minutes I felt myself inspired so much. So let's start. So Henry, your family is from Puerto Rico, but you were born in New York, right?
Yes, my mother was born in Puerto Rico, and my father was born in the United States in Florida. My mother's side is the Puerto Rican side. My father's side is more mixed. We have the American, the European. It's a little mix of everything in there. It's like a melting pot. And I've always, I grew up more around my mother's side of the family, so I tend to feel more the Puerto Rican side of me dominates more.
But your professional DJ career started in New York City. So did you ever think that you will dedicate your life to a DJ career, or maybe you had some other dreams to become maybe some other person?
I never expected it. I just kind of fell into it. But I was collecting music. I always loved music since I was very young, since the age of 8, 9, 10. I started my record collection, and I remember I used to shine shoes in a barbershop in the neighborhood just to earn a little extra cash, a little extra money. And after that, I used to go and buy my records with the money I made. So I had my collection. By the time I was already in my teens in high school, I had a pretty substantial, really nice record collection. So that's how I fell into the DJing, because somebody asked me to bring some records to a party when I was in high school. They wanted some Latin music, because my majority of my music was salsa, some merengue and cha-cha. And at that time, they didn't play bachata. It was many years ago. But so they asked me to bring records to a party when I arrived. I went to give them the records, and they said, "No, you play the records because you know the music." First time I saw a DJ booth in my life. He brought me inside, told me this controls that, that controls this. You raise the volume here, and it was records. It was not, digital like now or CDs. It was vinyl. And that's how it all started. Then after that, I got so many compliments that night that I got the itch for it. So I called some friends in the neighborhood that were DJs, and I said, you guys, whenever you have parties, let me know, and I bring the records. I bring the salsa music. I bring the Latin music, and that's how I got my feet wet. That's how it all started for me. I had never imagined, and it all started as a hobby, when I first started. I never thought I would make a career out of it and get to travel the world with it and work the biggest clubs. It was all just a hobby in the beginning, but it became my career.
But you're DJ in different styles, but of course, primarily you are recognized the salsa DJ and the very first salsa DJ at the very first salsa congresses around the world. So salsa is different from other types of music because it has a social aspect. So could you tell us about the first salsa festivals you played and how the situation differed? I mean, back in those times, in those days, yeah. For example, in comparison with the congresses these days.
Well, it was incredible. The very first salsa congress, very first salsa festival was in Puerto Rico. The first year I didn't get to make it, but the second year I was there. And when I walked into the room, it was an amazing feeling. The energy in the room was just incredible because you grow up dancing salsa in your hometown, Remember, internet didn't really become popular until around the 90s, And that's when around the world started connecting. So, I grew up dancing in New York and in Puerto Rico. So it's when I went there and I saw people from Europe, even just from the West Coast, from LA, from Miami, from Europe, from Asia, from everywhere, the Caribbean, and just seeing all the different styles I was blown away. I was just blown away. It was an amazing energy. And then one thing a lot of people don't know is that the very first salsa congress didn't really have a DJ because in Puerto Rico, it was always about the live music. It was always about the live music. And when you went to any clubs, it was usually live band. And then when the band would take a break, it would be like the bar manager or somebody bartender behind the bar, put some music until the band comes on. Or if there's a big dance, it would be the sound man that would just play a CD or mixtape or something until the band came on again. So the very first salsa congress in Puerto Rico, there was Rene that was playing music, but he was just playing with two home decks next to the sound man. He would put in the CD and the sound man would bring up the channel. So it was not really a DJ. It was no DJ gear. It was no DJ on a stage. And that's when I proposed to them. I said, this is an amazing event. You have great dancers, you have live bands, but you're missing a DJ, a professional DJ on a riser, on a stage, with professional equipment, and that keep the people going in between the band, really feed off the energy of the dancers, and to keep them going after the band. So this is when they announced me. They made a big press conference and announced me as the official DJ of the Bacardi Salsa Congress. It was all Bacardi because the first year was the Congreso Mundial de la Salsa. And then Bacardi took interest in the event and became the main sponsor. And the second year, they changed the name to Congreso Bacardi de la Salsa. And that's when Bacardi became the main sponsor. So it was incredible, the energy, and they had two stages. They had two stages, one on one side of the room, the other one on the other side, and they would have the dance performances, like normal, like you have in the festivals now.
Yeah.
And as soon as the dance performance finished, they would announce the band, and the band is on the next stage. And
in the same hall.
Hall. And wow. The people are dancing in between the two stages. So they're watching the shows, and then as soon as the show's finished, they turn around and the band starts. it was just incredible. And in Puerto Rico, some of the most amazing bands. You're talking about bands like Gran Combo, Bobby Valentin, Roberto Roena, Sonora Ponceña, some of the most incredible bands in the Latin music scene. I was just blown away. And then the year after that was when I became part of the event. And before that, I used to travel to Puerto Rico every Thursday to DJ. I mean, every Friday. I used to DJ in New York Thursday night and Friday flight to Puerto Rico. And the same organizer, the one that invented the congresses, Eli Rizarri, used to bring me there, fly me there every Friday. And I remember him telling me about the idea of the congresses. And he pulled it off. He did it. And it was just amazing feeling, the first festivals, first congresses.
You're also known for working in the most famous nightclubs and venues in New York City, even in the 80s, such as world famous Copacabana, see?
Yes.
And you were working also there with big names like Tito Puente, Celia Cruz, yes, Hector Lavoe, Willie Colon, and a lot of people to enumerate. And you also were recognized as a person who created and hosting some of New York City famous parties for over 12 years. And you even were recognized, these parties were recognized by the Time Out New York, it's a magazine, right?
Yeah, so the party that hosted, yes.
Share this experience to the audience, please.
Well, it's like you're talking about two different decades, because the 80s, I was there in the 80s and 90s. And when I first started, I started in small venues, but I quickly grew and started working in bigger venues. The Copacabana wasn't really a Latin club, and it turned into doing a Latin night. It was just a Tuesday night, and it was around 1980 that they decided to do a Latin night, and it was instantly successful. And they brought big bands, all the best bands in New York. And the Copa, when they lost their lease at the original location, which was on 60th Street between 5th and Madison, they moved to 57th Street in New York City, and it was like 5 times the size. It was huge. And actually, that club used to be Red Pirate. I used to DJ there years before that, before they moved. And the Copa, that's when the Copa really blew up, and they would do a Latin Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, 3 nights a week, and they used to get between 2,000 to 4,000 people on a night. And I was the main DJ there. I was the head DJ. On Tuesdays, I used to work there Tuesdays and Saturdays, I believe. Tuesday was the biggest night. And that's where I started getting recognized by people that would travel from around the world, and they invited me to DJ in Japan, in Argentina, Italy, and other cities around the US. I was invited because of the recognition I received working as the main DJ at the Copacabana, which is the world famous Copacabana. Yeah.
And how is it? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
And of course, all the best bands were there. It was incredible. All the, like you mentioned, Tito Puente, Celia Cruz, all of them were performed at the Copacabana. It brought like sometimes 2 bands a night.
2 bands a night? Oh my God.
Yes. But it was like that all over in New York in that era. That's when salsa was on fire. You were able to choose between 6 clubs to go and dance salsa, and with live music. The bands were doing doubles and triples throughout the night. Like they would go from one club to the next. They would finish up one set and go to the next club. The Bronx, that's what they call the Bronx, the Condado de la Salsa, the borough of salsa, because the Bronx has so many clubs, and you could go in the Bronx and go to 6 to 10 clubs in one night, and they all have live bands, and they were all crowded. It was just incredible. That's when the New York scene was just like at its top. It was on fire.
So now people may see the picture with you and Celia Cruz, La Reina de la Salsa.
Celia was the artist that most impressed me. She was just amazing, so humble, so sweet. She was like your abuelita, your grandmother.
But how it is important for a DJ to collaborate with live bands, and what kind of collaboration is this? So explain please to the viewers what is the essence of the DJ working with the live bands, especially when the DJ puts the songs of famous bands.
Yes. Well, I always try to kind of go with the energy of the night, like whatever I felt from the audience. And I try to keep, and I always try to play something different from what the live bands were playing. I'm not going to, if Roberto Roena or Tito Puente is on stage, I'm not going to play Tito Puente music. I want to play something different. You have to really take the audience in different directions and just keep them dancing and keep them there, not lose the crowd. But New York has some of the most amazing dancers, and the people did not go. I mean, the parties went on till 4 or 5 in the morning. It was incredible. And at that time, they also had after hours. People would go from the club to the after hours that would be open till like 9, 10 in the morning. It was just nonstop dancing, But yeah, working with the live bands was an honor for me, because I got to, when I was growing up, before I became a DJ, and listening to these bands, like with my family, because my family would have the family get-togethers, play these artists. And then for me to actually get to meet them and work with them and be with them in the clubs was an incredible honor, like it was, and they were just normal people like us, like for me, before I got to know them, before I started DJing, they were like superstars, like celebrities. And of course they are, but when you get to meet them, they're just normal people like us, just humble and approachable and really cool, really cool. Or I can't say that any of them was not that, they were all cool. And I really enjoyed it. And they always showed me a lot of respect, because the DJ helps the artists, they help the bands. By just playing their music, it gives them an avenue to reach the dancers, because sometimes if it doesn't go through, they don't hear it through the radio, or they don't hear through a live performance, they would hear through the DJ. So many artists brought me their music to help, because they wanted to see the reaction of the crowd. They wouldn't get a chance for me to play, something new for them, something new that they released. So the DJs were very important for a lot of the artists, because we were the connection to the dancers. And we were there every night and playing more hours. So we were able to introduce a lot of new music to the dance floors.
How many countries did you visit as a DJ, and where did you feel yourself excited the most? Maybe the most unusual trip in your life.
That's really difficult, because I've DJed over like 80 countries, like 850 cities, and every place was so unique in its way, Of course, we met in Israel. Israel was amazing,
yes,
right?
2009.
Cool. Yeah. But I the first place I went to internationally, besides the Caribbean, was Japan. And Japan really impressed me. That was around 1996, 97. And Japan really, that's why I fell in love with Asia. It was this, the whole culture, the people, the vibe was just blew me away. I fell in love with Asia since that first trip to Japan. But I also love South America. When I went to Argentina and Europe, going to Italy, Milan was the first city I went to in Europe. And it is funny, because you learn a lot of things. You experience there's a lot of unique experiences with the cultures differences. Now I've adapted, but in the beginning there was just something. Like I remember when I called Italy, and in Spanish we say pronto, but it's fast. When I called Italy, they said pronto, pronto, and I thought they were rushing me when I went to talk. Because for us in Spanish, pronto is fast, 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 fast. And when I call, they say pronto, pronto, but that's how they answer the phone there. And it's pronto, pronto, and I'm like, oh, why are they rushing me to talk fast? It's really funny. Yeah, so it's some good experiences.
Yes, I remember we met each other in Israel. It was a really amazing congress that was taking place for the whole week. And after the congress, we were traveling around the
Yes.
country. So it's amazing time to meet people, to communicate closer to them after even the congress, to make friends. So I
Yeah.
am very grateful that salsa unites people so much that we can meet each other, people from different parts of the planet. So
Yeah. Well, that's what really that's been the most amazing experience for me is that I made friends all around the world, and I can say that any city I go to, I know somebody there.
yeah, you like have a friend in every country.
Yes. Yeah.
And but you also a very good salsa dancer, social dancer. So where did you learn? Where did you start learning salsa? And who was your teacher, or you? I mean, or you were learning or dancing from your childhood? And also, a question is, what do you think to be a good salsa DJ? To be a good salsa DJ, any DJ should also start learning how to dance. What do you
Well,
think?
that's an important question. I really, well, to answer your first question, yes, it started since I was a child with my family, in Puerto Rico. We used to, we know Puerto Rican families. We would get together, there's food, there's drink, and then there's music. So they'll move all the furniture and just start dancing. And I learned how to dance with my mother, my aunts, my cousins. But also when later in the time, later in the years when I started DJing, I was DJing in the Bronx. Like you said, I used to host parties, and I used to host. I used to work with a Sunday after the beach party in the Bronx, and we had Tito Ortos, who's looking in the background. Tito
Yes,
Tamara.
yeah.
So yeah, we had the after the beach parties, and Eddie Torres was the instructor. Eddie Torres used to teach at the party. I was there every Sunday, and every Sunday he used to come before he started the class. He used to give me a step. You see, but I forgot most of them. Because for me, I only I get what I feel comfortable with, and I put it into my own step. But yeah, I never really officially took classes. I just learned just watching and dancing. But I've been dancing since I was 5, 6 years old with my family. And yeah, I think it is very important for a salsa DJ to be able to dance. I think it's important for the DJ to have his heart there with the dancers on the dance floor. So dancing, I feel, does benefit you and help you be a better DJ. Of course, maybe not everybody, but some people just have a good ear for it and a feeling for it. But I feel that my dancing helps me as a DJ.
And what source of information for self-development would you recommend for salsa DJs, especially with the sources that are available right now, and how it was back in those days?
Yeah, well, back in those days was a lot more difficult. We had to do a lot more homework. And when I was working in the clubs, I had an advantage, because I worked with some of the best dancers, some of the original Palladium dancers from back in the 50s. When I first started DJing, I was very young, in my teens, and some of the people that were at the parties were much older, and they had been from the Palladium era back in the 50s. And they used to ask me for music, like Tito Puente, and some of the bands that I wasn't familiar with. But I used to write everything down when they asked me for it. And I would go and buy it. I would say, I don't have it now, but next week I'll have it, and I would go buy the record and look up and search about that artist. We didn't have the internet back then. So you had to go to the record stores and listen. And we used to have record stores where the owners or the staff in the store would play the music for us, and they also were familiar with a lot of old music and a lot of new music. So we used to ask them what's new, and they used to play it for us. Yeah, check this out. And so it's a lot easier for some DJs now for people to become DJs, because they could go on the internet, listen to things, download things for free. It was more difficult back then because you had to really go out and go spend hours in the music stores and buy records. and really do your homework. And it was all vinyl. It wasn't just like now we carry a computer. It's easier. We had to carry boxes of records, which were heavy.
Yeah.
So I think DJs have to do their homework, and really, even though it's easier now, you have the internet, which is an amazing resource to learn about the artists, learn about the musicians, learn about the arrangers. For me, the arrangers are one of the most important, because the arrangers are the ones that put everything together. This whole song, when you listen to a song, it's the arranger first. That of course, the composer that writes a song, and the arranger that puts all the music for it. Yeah, and then the band is the one that records it, or the singer. So for me, learning about the arrangers, and I got to meet most of them was just incredible, because then you learn about the style that you like. Like some arrangers catch your attention more than others, and you get to learn that you like their style.
Okay. And how to find the right balance between people's expectations and your own vision, and how do you react on people approaching you and asking you to put this song or that song, like in Madonna's song, "Hey Mr. DJ, put your record on, I wanna dance with my baby." Some people like approaching the DJ, especially friends, like, "Oh, I want this one. Oh, please put this one. Oh, I want that one." So during the Congress, I mean,
Yes. I don't mind when people ask me for songs if it's something that could work, that goes with the program. I don't mind. Somebody asks me for a request. Sometimes it's a song that I could play. I say, yeah, I'll play for you, no problem. Sometimes it's something I feel doesn't fit, and I say, I'm not sure if I could play that. Is there something else you want to hear? I try to honor requests as a DJ. It's very difficult sometimes, because some people are very aggressive and they get angry when you say, no, I can't play that, So,
yes. Especially when people are aggressive, yeah.
But they don't understand our job. They don't know our job behind the scenes, and they don't know that, like, there's certain songs that just don't work, or they won't work at that moment, or won't work with that crowd. Or some songs are too fast for the dancers, So, everybody like, I can't play only what I like. I got to play for the crowd. And because somebody wants to hear a song that they like, I can only play it if it works for the crowd. But people have to understand that not always a DJ cannot always honor your requests.
But you mostly play for yourself or for the crowd. So what would you answer? For the crowd mostly.
Yeah, play for the crowd. Of course, I like you said before, I dance. So
yeah.
So I feel it as dancer. So if I like, makes me dance, I feel that it's gonna make everybody else dance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And did you ever play for free? And what you can recommend to the young, DJs who are just starting their career? They would like to get some jobs, and they have lack of experience, so they are not famous yet, and the organizers maybe suggest that they can try for free. Should they agree to work for free, or it depends upon the situation, upon each particular case?
Everybody's situation is different. I feel that I understand DJs, they want to get experience, and like, it was very different for us in the beginning, back in the years when I started as a DJ, because you really had to pay your dues. And then when I say pay your dues, you have to gain experience working smaller places, small bars, small lounges, before you work big clubs like, say, the Copacabana. There was many big clubs in New York back in the years, like the Ritz, the Red Parrot, the Copacabana, the New York Club Manhattan, Ipanema. Those are big clubs that got big crowds. And we had to earn our dues first and in the beginning, I was still working I wasn't working for free. I was earning something, I was earning not a lot of money, it was a lot of work for little money, but I did get paid for it. But I gained the experience. There was a club in the Bronx Actually, it was just a lounge, a small lounge, and we used to have to bring the equipment because they didn't have the DJ equipment. And Machito used to rehearse there. He lived upstairs, so it was. I'm talking about like 1978, way back. And it's one of my first places that I really that I could say I gained experience before I started working bigger venues and big clubs. So when for a new DJ, try to gain experience in smaller places. Don't try to get into a festival, a big festival that's done once a year, and it's not a good avenue for gaining experience. You have to pay your dues somewhere else first before you start doing bigger clubs and bigger events.
I see. Thank you very much. I hope the DJs are watching us right now and they will take it granted. So did you have the experience when you did your best, but the energy of the people was getting down and people started leaving? Maybe you didn't have, but maybe you had this kind of experience. So maybe do you have some songs which, to your opinion, will save the situation in any case?
It is difficult. It happens sometimes. Sometimes, no matter what you try, what you do, because when you see you losing people, you change up the music, try to play something different, try to play different styles. Sometimes it's just that people are not feeling it. It's hard. You have some nights when you say, wow, the energy was great. Everybody was having a good time. And then some nights it's like, it might not be the DJ, it just may be the crowd. They just may be like not really feeling it. So, and that's really hard for a DJ, because when you feel like you're losing the crowd, you got to change it and try to come in with something else, try to come in with something that can get them back. But sometimes it just doesn't work. So it happens. You have your ups and downs like any other business and any other like dancers that when they have performances, they feel that they really did a good performance.
But the crowd is not reacting.
The crowd doesn't react. Sometimes it's just the crowd. I find that some cultures are different too. Like when you look compared to when you're performing for an audience in Puerto Rico or an audience in Asia, is different because the cultures are different too. So it's sometimes a little complicated.
Okay, and the audience have a chance to make some comments and to write the questions, and we will pass them to Henry and he will answer. And you already have best regards from Aygün Jabarova from Azerbaijan. She gives you best regards right now and you good vibes. Mm-hmm. Good vibes. She says, great to see you, Henry. And you have numerous remixes and compilations. So just tell us about your remixes, compilations.
Well, one of my favorite mixes was a Canario remix. It was because I used to work with RMM Records, and they asked me to do a mix for this compilation called Street Dancing. I forgot the name of the compilation. Dance Street Mixes, something like that. And I did a Canario mix. That was incredible. That was in the 90s or 80s. No, it was 90s. And then I did the compilation for the Bacardi Salsa Congress. I think the first and the only one was the Bacardi Salsa Congress for the Puerto Rico Congress. That also came out on RMM Records. I did a few compilations. I did some compilations for Ralph Mercado, which was the Salsa Festival, the New York Salsa Festival. I helped him with that. Because I was working with RMM Records at the time, so Ralph would always call me into the office and ask me to help him with certain things, or he asked me to do some compilations.
Okay, and in the beginning of 90s, due to the popularity in the major New York City nightclubs, you started a new career as a promotional director of some major recording labels. And in between your work with the recording labels, you also had opportunity to work with some big name like DME, Artist Management, and bookings, right? Which represented some big salsa names like Mark Anthony and Ruben Blades. So tell us, please, about this bright period of your life. So you had an opportunity to travel with many artists, and you probably made great personal relationship with major recording artists, DJs.
Yes, it all started in the Copa, the same place, because all the record company personnel, the record company promoters and owners and directors, they all came to visit me in the club. And then the first one was this guy named David, that he asked me to come because he was working on a new project with WEA, which is Warner Electric Atlantic. And he asked me to come in and to help with a new artist and to promote for promotions. I had no experience working with record labels, but I figured I'd give it a shot, and basically what it involves is getting the music to the DJs, getting it to the radio, to the press, getting it to the television, and also taking the artists around to radio stations for radio interviews, TV interviews, basically promotions of whatever production they put out. And so I got to work with WEA. From WEA, I went to DME, which was a whole nother avenue because DME was David Maldonado Entertainment. And I got there, I started to learn how to work under management of an artist and bookings and touring with the artist. So, and that office, they managed Mark Anthony, and that's why I got to work with him 3 years, traveling with Mark. That's when Mark was just like, he was developing, he was still developing, and DME helped a lot with his development, and he was growing as an artist. He wasn't as big as he is now, but he was, from the beginning, Mark was always an incredible artist. He always captured the audiences, and he was always successful in every performance he did. And there I got to work with Grupo Mania, Michael Stewart, Ruben Blades. I think there was so many artists under that company that we booked, and I got to travel with. So it was an incredible experience. And from there, I jumped over to RMM. RMM is like a sister company to DME because it managed a lot of artists that were under DME and under RMM. Like Michael Stewart, I got to work with him under DME, but I was also working with RMM. So RMM Records was Ralph Mercado. He originally started as a promoter, and then he developed this incredible record label that all the artists were under there. Tito Puentes, Elia Cruz, Eddie Palmieri, Tito Nieves, Canario. I mean, India, they also created another, like a subsidiary label that was Soho for the younger artists, that was like Mark Anthony, India, Michael Stewart. So that was an amazing journey for me. I got to work with some of the biggest names, like Bobby Cruz was one of the first artists I went on promotion with. And it was such an honor, and he was so nice. Him and his wife were so humble, and they really touched my heart, And then from there, I went to BMG Music Group. So, yeah.
But you began personally managing and representing a Spanish Harlem Orchestra. You were personally representing in 2001 the Spanish Harlem Orchestra, and you gave credit for them, and you introduced them to the world. So
that was an amazing band.
So as far as I know, they were nominated for Grammy.
Yes, they were nominated for Grammy. The first the second album that I was with them. I was with them from the first recording, and it was nominated for Grammy. And I got to go to the to the Grammys when they got nominated, because the Grammys that year was in New York, so it was amazing. That band was just so versatile. I mean, they still are. I'm not saying was, because they still
Yes,
exist.
yeah.
I'm just not working with them anymore. But a matter of fact, what you're looking at there, I think, was the that was in the Montreal Jazz Festival, I believe. I don't remember. So we went to the Montreal Jazz Festival. I booked them there, and that was one of the most amazing experiences, because it was like over 100,000 people out there. It was outdoors. It was on the GM stage, and when I looked at the sea of people out, the amount of people that were there, it was just like, wow. And they tore it up. The band was so, I mean, the people loved them. They were incredible. And yeah, they've won, I think, 3 Grammys now since then. And I stopped. I went independent as a manager and booking bands and touring with them, like Spanish Harlem Orchestra and New Swing Sextet. And but I stopped doing that because it's changed now a lot, and that people are not booking bands like before. The budget is not there. The economy is in the entertainment business changed. So I pulled back on management and bookings for now.
And you already mentioned you were also managing and representing New Swing Sextet, and they also were nominated for Grammy Award. And what advice can you give in terms of promoting salsa bands around the world? I understand that the times changed, but still, thanks God, we have a lot of bands singing salsa live music, live timba, live salsa, and other Latin American music. So what advice can you give in terms of promoting salsa bands? I've been singing in the salsa band for 5 years, and the manager of the band is watching us right now. So your advice will be very, very useful, and maybe you will share the formula of success. But in order to be popular for a band, what music is popular right now?
Well, for me, when I started imagining instruments, I said it's because I felt they had something, like it's just a feeling for me, when I, see like Spanish Harlem Orchestra, New Smith said there's a certain feeling, and this band, people will love them, and since I had my experience with working with DME, that's what really helped me with the gentleman named Juan Toro. He's an amazing manager, booking agent. I learned a lot from him, about how to manage bands, how to take them on tour. And it's a lot of work. It's not easy. People look at it as fun, but it's a lot of work. Like some people feel that, man, like, why do I have to pay extra money for a manager? But
Yes.
a manager is very important, because a manager is the one that has to do all the dirty work and handle everything. You have to make sure everything is set. You have to make sure you got the right hotel room. You got to make sure they got the flight. You got to make sure you got the transportation. You got to make sure you got all the equipment on the stage that they need. You got to collect the deposit. You got to collect the balance. It's a lot of work. With New Smith said it was incredible, because they hadn't recorded in over 35 years, and they had broke up for a while. And I saw them at a small restaurant in New York, and I said, wow, New Swing Sextet. So I was running the Monday night party at the time at a Flamingo, and I invited them. We did like a reunion party of New Swing Sextet, where we brought them in, and we did like a reunion party. It was so successful. Many people showed up. They loved the band. And from there, I started booking them a little bit more. And for me, with the bookings was a little easier, because at the time I was traveling a lot, and I had contacts with a lot of organizers. And back then, still a lot of the festivals were interested in bringing in live bands. Not like today, a lot of festivals can't afford it. But back then, a lot of festivals saw the value in the live music, and booked live music every year at their congresses and festivals. Which I feel is important, because people have to see the bands. It also helps keep the music alive, and is a connection with the dancers and the live music. It's not all about it's not only about the dancing. Remember that dancing is an expression of the music. So
Yeah.
you need that music and you need the connection with the music. And for me, it's very important, to sometimes, I hosted so many parties in New York where I lost money because I had to pay the band and I didn't make any money. But for me, it was such a pleasure to still do it, even though I went home not making anything, but just to have that band there, and for the people to get to see them and to try to help keep the music alive. So yeah, it's hard work. Not anybody can do management as far managing the band. It's a lot of work. I learned because I worked with the agency, with the company, and it's just you gotta really you gotta always put the artist's interests ahead of yours, as a manager. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And our manager, Jane, she gives you best regards, sending a lot of hearts for this inspiring answer, because it's very, very important for the manager to hear these words from experience manager like you. And also Alexis Ruiz, the great dancer and musician, he gives you best regards, saying, long time, hello, Henry.
hello, hola. I met in Japan, didn't we?
Yeah, but now he's living in London.
Okay.
So you also, another question is, you also worked as official DJ for all the movie premieres of movie El Cantante, with Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony playing main roles in this movie. So premiere were held in different cities and different countries. So I know that this movie has different opinions from the critics and the audience. Yep. I watched it, I liked it, but some people, as far as I know, some critics were very strict with this movie. So tell us about this movie, about your opinion, about interesting and memorable moments from maybe the backstage of this movie.
Well, like you said, it had different critics, but every movie does, right? So you can't always please everybody. Same thing like a DJ. You can never please everybody. There's always going to be one person that doesn't like it. I enjoyed the movie. I was happy to be a part of it. I went to the very first premiere in Toronto Film Festival, and every premiere has a party after. So Distillery in Toronto, that's where they did the after party. I was there with Mark and Jennifer, and the one that wrote the original, because originally it was a play and it was called Quien Mató Hector Lavoe, which was David Maldonado with the same company I work with, David Maldonado Entertainment, DME. That was a company that represented Mark Anthony from the beginning. So he wrote the play, and from there the script to the movie. And Mark and Jennifer, I believe Jennifer had a big part in the production and the financing of some of the movie. So they did and it was incredible, when I first seen it, because I got to see a lot of the cast and the people in the movie that I knew it, but they were playing roles of other people, like other artists, and like the Victor Manuel playing Ruben Blades, because I know Victor and I know Ruben, so it was just like wow, and it has a pretty dark side to the movie because of all the drug use and everything. And I like to say Willie Colon, he felt like it was didn't show the good, it only showed the bad. So everybody has an opinion, and I understand, because I feel it could have been a little focused more on the bright side of it, not only the dark side. Yeah.
Okay. And also, you have a lot of friends among the celebrities, and with some of them you have a good close friend relationship. And for example, like Vanessa Williams, you have good friends with this beautiful dancer and actress, and you also made some surprise for her during some reality shows. So did you participate in numerous reality shows, or maybe movies, or other TV programs?
Was an amazing story. I met Vanessa because of the movie Dance with Me.
Yes.
I
We
was
were
working.
talking about this movie with Luis Vasquez in our previous edition. He was also
Right.
playing in the, dancers in the club they
Yes.
were playing.
Yeah. But they recorded it in LA. So yes, that movie. I was working a club in New York called Latin Quarter, and one night, Vanessa Williams, Cheyenne, and some people like the scriptwriter for the movie came, because they were looking at dancers. They used some dancers from New York to do choreographies, and they came and I met them, and it was incredible. Vanessa was so sweet. Cheyenne is very nice, and the original title of the movie was called Shut Up and Dance. A lot of people don't know that it was called Shut Up and Dance. When it made it to Hollywood, they changed the name to Dance with Me. So yeah, we became close, and they invited me to the premieres of that movie. To the very first premieres, in New York, and I was the MC for one of the premiere press parties too that they had. I went to every screening. Of that movie, from the first one all the way to the last, and before it was released. Yeah, and they wanted to take me to LA at the time to help them, but I could not because I had just started with the record company. I think I had just started with RMM, and I couldn't, I had a job commitment, so I could not travel to LA with them to help with the movie. Yeah, when they saw my dancing, they said it was kind of raw, the style they were looking for Cheyenne, because Cheyenne in the movie, he wasn't a trained dancer. It was just in his blood. He was Latino, came from Cuba, and he didn't. That's why the original title was "Shut Up and Dance." Just shut up and dance. Just play the music and let me dance.
Yes.
And they wanted me to help with that, but they wanted to videotaping me and another dancer. Her name was Rosa. That they filmed us in one of the dance studios in New York, and they wanted to use that material just to show it to Cheyenne and Vanessa, just to kind of get that raw feeling, just that not from traditional, not from dance lessons, just So yeah, I had to. Then me and Vanessa became friends, and we kept in contact. She would always come to my parties, and she would invite me to DJ for.
Yes.
She had parties because she wanted Latin music. She just loved to dance, and this reality show was. They called me because it was her bridal shower, and it was for this reality show called Celebrations. And they wanted me to just surprise her as a DJ for that event. And I just happened to be in New York. I happened to be going to New York around that time. And she didn't know. When she heard my voice, she recognized me right away.
Yeah, I see her face right now on the screen. Like, oh, what's going on?
She recognized me right away because I said, Vanessa, you know who this is? And she's like, Henry? Because she thought I was in Thailand. She didn't even know I was in New York. So it was a nice surprise, and it's good to see her. Vanessa has always supported my party. She's just a sweetheart. She's an amazing person, and I got to meet her whole family. And she's so down to earth, and she's an amazing superstar. Her voice, her acting, everything. She's just incredible.
Yeah.
That was the only reality show I was in. I mean, I've been on television for interviews and different things. I haven't worked on any movies, but yeah, I've been on television for just basically interviews, and that was the only time with a reality show.
Okay. And now you already mentioned that you are living for 6 years in Thailand. So why you have made the decision to move from New York City to Thailand, and what tell us about how is the salsa community in Thailand in comparison with Europe, with United States, and what do you like the most being in Thailand?
Well, I made the move because I felt like I needed a change at the time. New York City is not what it used to be. There's no clubs. I was working mainly a lot of clubs and organizing parties, but I felt like a lot of that had changed and wasn't there like before. Like I missed the live music in New York. And the first time I came to Thailand, I fell in love with it. It just reminds me of the Caribbean. It reminds me of Puerto Rico in some ways. Of course, you don't have the Puerto Ricans, but you have the passion fruit, the mangoes, the guava, the palm trees, the beaches, the weather. And I fell in love with it. And then it's also, it's the cost of living is much lower. And I just feel I needed to make a change. And I fell in love with Asia, like I said. So I figured I could base myself in Thailand. And from here, I could still work around Asia. And also, Thailand has a good airport that you can travel anywhere from. So let's say like a flight from New York to Europe is about the same as a flight from Bangkok to Europe. And it's, not that much of a time difference either. And so I figured I'd give it a shot. I moved out here. I opened up my company. And yeah, there's a South scene. Of course, it's not as big as other cities like New York and LA and Miami and places. But yeah, this is South scene. It's small South scene, but it's great people. And I have my own parties. I do have my own parties down here too as well. We do like bi-weekly parties, and I do a regular Sunday party. Well, not everything is shut down because of COVID, but
you live in several cities, right? You live in
Bangkok. I go between Pattaya and Bangkok. But okay. I used to travel if you went to Phuket at 1.2. I used to fly there. Because you have many cities that have the other cities have smaller scenes like Chiang Mai, Phuket, Pattaya, not compared to Bangkok, But also once a year I go to Japan to DJ. Sometimes I go to Taiwan, Hong Kong, I still travel to different countries, but not as much as before. Pretty comfortable here, and I got tired of the cold in New York.
We are tired of the cold here in Europe. It's already June, but still it's like autumn. So.
But I do miss New York. I mean, like I said, I miss there's still some live music. When I go out there, I try to visit at least a few venues. There's one in the Bronx, there's one in Westchester that you get to see, I get to see some of the bands, and it's like it's so amazing. And the Broadway shows, there's a lot of things that I miss of my family, my friends. Of course, I miss it, But I've been now here over 6 years, and I have my life here now. So, but I still get to travel. There to New York sometimes.
Okay, but do you play also some music instruments? Because I see on the pictures that you have all time some percussion in your hands. So you play music instruments?
I got my maracas, and I do, but I just play around. It's not, I'm not professional. Just to play over the music. We got the campana, the guiro, the clave. I just mess around. I'm not a professional musician, but the music is in my heart.
Okay, but do you sing by yourself? You singer?
Sing? No. Well, back when I was in DJing back in New York, I used to jump on stage with the bands and used to do coro. Coro is just the background vocals, just singing along with the choros. That I could do, but I'm not a singer. I could mess around with just background vocals. Yeah.
Okay. And the question I would like to ask, it's a question a bit deep, I would say, question, because sometimes any person, any professional, any jazz person has some personal and professional crisis, stuck, like something like some gap inside. So how you handle these periods? I'm sure you probably faced these kind of periods when you wanted to quit everything, So
No, I've never felt that I want to quit. You know, it's this is my life and I enjoy it. I think if I stop DJing tomorrow, I'm still gonna do something with music. The advantage I have is that I have gained a lot of experiences with different ends of the music. You know, working with the labels, working with the artists, managing, promoting, remixing, productions. So I think if I stop DJing tomorrow, I'm still gonna be doing something with music, working with remixes or working with promotions or working with artists. So because this is my life, I used to do insurance when I was younger. I thought I was gonna be an accountant,
Hmm.
but I fell into the DJing. It kind of, it's something that I never dreamed of being a DJ. I never planned on it. I just kind of fell into it. I think it was my calling, and I love music. Music, because like I said, I was collecting music since I was 7, 8, 9 years old, and so I think I will die with music. And I will be in the music, doing something with music until I die. I never really feel like. Yeah, you have in like anywhere, anything, you have your ups and downs. You go through your hard times. Right now, it's very difficult for a lot of people in the entertainment business, DJs, dancers. There's no work.
Yes, of
But
course.
you know, but we have to keep moving forward. As I'm a person that I always stay positive, and I never let anything really get me down. I just I'd be down for a few minutes, and then I just say, you know what? I always think about how much worse it could be. It's like you get up, brush yourself off, and keep moving forward. And never stop. So,
Like in
and I've
this,
been, yeah, go ahead.
like in the movie Gone with the Wind, Scarlett O'Hara said, "I will think about this tomorrow."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tomorrow you forget it. Like you gotta always. It's This is not an easy business. Entertainment. It's not easy. It's very difficult. It's a lot of pressure. And like I told you, like there's always you could have 100 people in the room that are happy, and you get one person that's just says they don't like what you're doing. So, but you can't please everyone. You always have to do your best and keep moving forward.
Yeah, we have several questions from the audience, and one from our manager, like band manager Jane. She says, "Can the music manager influence what a band plays? And if so, should a manager also be a musician, or is it enough for a manager just to see and to feel what the listener wants?"
I think as a manager, and I'm talking from my experience
Yes, yes,
because
of
I
course.
I have working in the clubs as a DJ, working with dancers, and I had I could say I have a strong connection. So yes, I would advise the bands, like when I was with Spanish Harlem Orchestra. Sometimes I would tell them, look, some of the songs are just too fast because you have a younger crowd that likes fast, but you have an older crowd that it might be too fast for them. So try to put some slower songs. Yeah, the manager can have an opinion and can advise. Yeah, it's very actually that is job of the manager to advise the band and guide them in the right direction, because that's very important. I would when I would travel with the bands, I would tell them, give them advice about different audiences, what to expect when they went to Germany, what to expect when they went to Italy. It's different crowds, different music. You have to fill them in and tell them what to expect. You have to be on top of them with schedule and time, and it's a lot of things. And yes, that basically is the job of the manager to advise. But I wouldn't say you have to be a musician, because you have enough work to concentrate on. And I think when the band is on stage, you have to be off stage because you have to be aware of what's going on and kind of feel it from the audience, so that you could tell them what they can improve on for the future shows.
Yeah,
You may see something
absolutely.
that could be done better, And that's something that you may not see it when you're on the stage as a musician. You have to see it from outside. It's like from the front, not from on the stage.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. It's very, very useful advice. And another question is very interesting and important that currently, at the festivals are very popular to have big events in big locations with different separate rooms for salsa Cuban, for several rooms for bachatas,
Yeah.
sensual or dominicano, kizomba, or I don't know, salsa crossbody separately from Cuban salsa. But back in those days, even when I started 15 years, 16 years ago, I started learning how to dance salsa. It was so-called mixed parties with one dance floor with all the music put together, so-called mixed parties. I personally miss those days. What do you think about these differences, and what do you prefer for yourself and friend?
I agree. When in New York, our parties were always mixed. Salsa was the primary music. But during the night, we did play a little merengue. We played a little bit cha-cha. We even played sometimes disco because back then was hustle. Hustle dancing was quite popular. And there was some clubs where we played a little disco. We played boleros, very slow ballads. So my personal opinion, I don't like when they separate the crowds because it kind of loses the energy. Like sometimes you have one room, like they say now with the popularity of bachata, the salsa room could be really like the energy is not there. I like when it's one room and you can play the variety of music, mix it up, and the people will dance everything. I don't agree, but that's my opinion. Like I said, I don't agree. Someone that says, I only want to dance bachata. I like to be able to mix it up and be able to, let's say, it would be nice if somebody dance a little salsa, dance a little bachata, dance cha-cha, not just play favoritism to one thing. Of course, I'm a diehard salsero. I could be in the salsa room all night and playing only salsa, but I can play everything, and I feel it just loses the energy a lot of times when they separate the rooms. I could understand why they do it. As organizers, is the business, and they attract more people, like the people that only want to dance bachata, people that only want to dance salsa. Because sometimes salseros, they don't want bachata, they don't want anything else. They want salsa. And when you play bachata, they'll leave the room. Or bachata, the people that like bachata will leave the room when they play salsa. So yeah, I understand why they do it. We have a festival in Bangkok where we have 3 rooms, and they separate. And I feel that sometimes it really affects the festival and the energy when they separate the rooms. But that's my opinion. And, I have nothing against it because I understand there's a business for people. But when I have my parties, I prefer just one room, keep everybody in there, and keep the energy high,
People can communicate and see each other. I mean, can meet friends because bigger festivals, you meet one person and in half an hour you will never see this person again.
Yeah, well, I DJ a festival in Toronto in October every year for the last 10 years. And they have 2 rooms. They have a bachata room and salsa room. Some people, I don't see them the whole festival. They just stay in the room. But I work mainly in the salsa room. I don't see them. And then I see them at the end of the event. Oh, you were here? Yeah, I was in the bachata room. I don't get to see them. So, yeah, it kind of is sad because it gets lost. And, but, that's the trend now. That's the way it's done. Things have changed, so gotta go along with it. But we don't agree with it. But that's a new way of doing things.
And probably it's more difficult for a DJ to be a DJ of the mixed party than to be a DJ of just one style.
Yeah, not everybody can do it. So, and it's hard. It's hard. And like I do a lot of corporate events, so I get to play all types of music. I can play
Yes.
any music, rock and roll, hip hop, house. You have to be versatile. Yeah, because a DJ, I feel a DJ has to be versatile. I cannot only stick to one. Yeah, I love salsa. I go play salsa 24/7. But to make money, you got to be versatile and be able to play everything.
Yeah. And again, people sending you best regards, and
Hello,
also
everybody.
the organizer of one of our biggest salsa events, Dennis, say good vibes. We have also great festivals in Ukraine. Of course, now everything is closed
I've
due to
never been
pandemic.
to Ukraine. Never been,
Well, we
unfortunately.
need to think over after pandemic. Thanks God we have now connect.
I was supposed to go there many years back, but it didn't work out. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, but but I've met a lot of people from Ukraine, lovely people.
yeah, thank you very much. And we hope to see each other face to face, not only through the
Yes,
internet connection. And according to our tradition, we have a final question. Usually,
yes.
our final question is, what is your formula of success?
Formula of success.
Yes.
Wow. Basically, you just gotta love what you do. You have to love what you do and never stop learning. Don't ever feel that you're that good that don't you can't always learn something new and advance. Is I went from vinyl to CDs to digital, and those transitions are very difficult, but you're always learning something new every day. I would say just put your heart into it, stay positive, and always move forward, and never stop learning.
Thank you very much. And taking into account numerous awards and recognitions that
Yes.
you got, and appearance in interviews and TV magazines shows, we are honored to have you with us here today. This is Mr. Henry Knowles, the best, one of the best DJs, salsa DJs in the world, the first salsa DJ and manager, just a great personality, outstanding personality who contributed so much into Latin American culture and continues making contribution. So we wish you all the possible success to everything you do, and to all the projects you have now. And I'm sure with such a positive attitude and energy, so no matter pandemic is or other obstacles, you will be successful in any case. So thank you very much for being with us, and hope to see you face to face on the dance floor.
Yes.
Somewhere.
I hope to see everybody soon. I miss you guys. I miss the energy. I miss watching all of you dancing. I hope we can get over this and get back on the dance floor soon.
So this is Henry Knowles, and this is Social Talks on Universo Latino channel. We make you get closer to the stars who inspire you, and stay tuned and stay with us. Next Wednesday, we invite you to join our live with a natural born performer, dancer, an outstanding master of ceremonies, and a musician, Farid Ferchah. So we met Farid together in Israel, and with Henry, I also met Farid for the first time in Israel, along with you, Henry. So I'm sure it will be funny live next Wednesday. So thank you guys for being with us, and enjoy your day today. And we will enjoy our winter summer in Ukraine, and hope that the summer weather will come here soon. Bye. Hello, my name is Olga Prykhodko. I've been dancing and singing salsa for many years. While I was traveling a lot, participating in numerous dance and music events around the world, I met stars in the world salsa community, whom I would like to introduce in my new project called Social Talks. I will be interviewing famous people and representatives of Latin American culture, and they will share their experience. They will tell about their ups and downs, and of course, they will inspire you. Subscribe to our channel Universo Latino on YouTube and other social networks and find a lot of interesting and useful information. Get closer to the stars who inspire you. Salsa unites people.